Welcome everybody to our first tutorial for Media Savvy, and today's tutorial is going to be the basics of Adobe Premiere Pro. So the first thing you're going to do is you are going to click New Project. Then you are going to label your project whatever you want to call it. So we're just going to say tutorial for today. Because a lot of the time people work from hard drives and things like that, but then if they disconnect the hard drive, Premiere Pro won't recognize where it is. So this is where we're working for today. So we select the folder, and then we're going to scratch disks. Nice shots for tutorial. And then we can just blast through that. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just a precaution, just to make sure that everything, just us telling Adobe Premiere, that it's just us telling Premiere Pro that everything's in this one folder, so that should be good for now. So then what are we going to name this sequence? So once again, we can name this tutorial 1. I know it's pretty boring. And right, okay, so guys, here in this box here you have your settings for what you filmed at. Okay, so I wouldn't worry too much about this now. If you don't know what you filmed your project in, when you import your footage you can change it then. So for now, I know that I shot on a DSLR in 1080p with 25 frames per second. So I can select that one, and we're just going to click OK there. Okay, so here is our timeline, and this is where we are going to be editing. This is the video track, and this is the audio track here. So first things first, we're going to make a bin, just so we can organize things a little bit better. And I'm going to say tutorial footage, okay? There we go, brilliant. And then I am going to look at my footage that I want to drag in. It's here, and we have some of these nice shots here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to drag this footage in. I'm going to open up this little bin here, and there we can see that's the footage that I've just dragged into our bin. But this is not yet in the timeline. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put it in the timeline. However, say some of this footage may be too long and I don't want all of it, so a quick workaround for that is we can double left click, then we can close this box. Now it's going to open in this window. Okay, so obviously we can see it's quite a nice clip. It's not rendered, but it's quite nice, but it's a little bit too long, and I find how much of I want of this clip. So I'm going to get my yellow marker here, I'm going to press I on the keypad, and that's going to make a mark. And then I'm going to get to about here, and I'm going to press O on my keypad, and that's in and out. So we press I at the beginning and O at the end, and then we can just drag this straight in. Boom. Alright, now we have that clip, which looks quite nice. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly drag in the rest of the footage. Okay, if you want to make your timeline bigger or shorter, so you can kind of see what you're doing, this more or less magnifies the timeline. It doesn't change the clip length or duration, but it makes the timeline bigger or smaller, so it's easy to work with. So for now I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Okay, guys, I'm going to quickly click back on the clip there, and I'm going to drag in the audio track, because I'm going to quickly drag in the audio track because we've got a little bit of music that we might want to use, and I can just, and if we see the audio track there, we have 2 audio tracks. So I'm going to put this on the second track. There, if you look there, we have 2 audio tracks. We have audio track 1 and audio track 2. Now, if we want to have the music playing under the audio that we already have, then we can just do this. We can select the track and put it underneath. Okay, and then it's going to play at the same time together. All right. Today I'm going to show you your 2 biggest friends in Premiere, and you're going to use these all the time. Okay, so we have selection tool V, it's the V shortcut, and we have the razor tool C. So you need to remember C and V on your keyboard. Press C. So I press C on my keypad and I select the part that I want to cut, and then I press V to get back to my mouse. Left click on this clip, and then I press delete. Okay, and then that's gone. And then I've got a nice bit of movement there. And I reckon we can cut there as well. So press once again, C, cut in the middle, and then back to V, delete. Okay, if we could just get in there we go, delete. And now I'm going to select this, put this over here, boom. And then we've got a nice another monkey clip here, so we're just going to cut this one. So guys, as you can see, I've literally made a small sequence there in the space of about 3 minutes. I just cut, and all I used was C and V and drag and drop, okay? So what I'm gonna do here is, I've decided this is where I want to end my sequence, okay? So the rest of the footage we can get rid of. Just delete, delete, delete. And I'm gonna try and be as brief as possible, you guys. And then obviously I don't need the rest of this song. I only need up to there. So I am going to click on the very corner of this. I'm going to hold left click and I'm going to drag this to here. Okay, and that's going to change the duration. And like you see, our marker, which is where we end the video, also changes here, all right? So guys, the next thing that I'm going to do with this is, I think that the volume is a little bit too loud on the waterfall. As you can hear, that's massively too loud. So we're going to just extend the clip a bit and we're going to select it, all right? So next we are going to go to Effect Controls, and as you can see, Audio Effects is the second box. We click Volume and we are just going to click off the keyframe. We don't want to keyframe this. We'll go into that in just a moment. Go right to the beginning there, not that that matters, and we are going to go to about, let's say, -15. I'm going to go -16 actually, because -18 I'll do. Much nicer. See, that's much nicer, okay? Once again, this one's too loud, so we go straight into Audio Effects. We go in Effect Controls, Audio Effects, click off the keyframe and down to about 15, well, about 16. And once again, that's absolutely fine. And then we are going to go, this monkey sanctuary footage is still a little bit too long, so we're going to go to the end of this, drag this to about here. And then guys, so you see if we've got this gap here, you might think, okay, so do I have to drag one by one? Not necessarily. You can right click and then there's a box that comes up that says ripple delete, okay? So every time that you have a blank space, you click in the middle of it, you highlight it, and instead of having to drag one by one, you can right click, press ripple delete, and boom, they come back together. Now we realize we've got a little bit too much audio, so we can just drag this back. Once again, that follows us, and there we go. So we're starting to get quite a nice timeline here. It's looking pretty good. So I tell you what we are going to do next is we are going to fade in and fade out at the beginning. Actually very simple. So instead of starting just hard like that, we can right click on the very beginning and we go down to apply default transitions. This generally would be a cross dissolve. That would be the default transition unless you're working on a computer someone else has used, which they may have changed it, but that's rather unlikely. So we can go bang straight into that, and then we have a little fade there. Now you might want to do the same with the music. So this is also going to be a fade in, so we can just apply default transition, and there we go. So lovely. We're going to put that on the end also. Okay, beautiful. Right, and then it ends nice for us as well. So we may decide that, okay, so the cut of the monkey, we might decide, well, from here to here, I'm not going to use that part because that's a little bit, alright, so hold on, that's a little bit too brush there, so we're just going to change this up a bit. Excuse me guys, that was my fault. A little bit brush, so we're just going to kind of make it so it blends a bit better. Much better. Okay, so guys, we are just gonna go into the middle of this, alright? We're gonna go to the end of this monkey clip, and we decide that we want to fade it in a bit. So how would we do that? Okay, so we don't want to use default transitions this time because we want to be a little bit more creative. So what we can do is we can go to effects. So guys, we're going to go into video transitions, which is just this option here. From video transitions, we may select dissolve. So straight into effect, video transitions, and then down to dissolve. Now we have a number of choices which we can make, which may make our fade nicer, okay, in from one shot to the next shot. So for this, I'm going to select film dissolve. So we're going to drag that right to the end, and then bang. Now we have a nice dissolve from one clip of this monkey to the other. So let's have a look from, now let's have a look at our fade. Not bad, it looks alright. It's not great yet, but for the sake of the video, it will do, okay? And then I'm going to add another just to mix it up a bit. I might dip to wide or something. Yeah, because we've got a little bit of water, it might look okay. So if we dip to wide from that, it doesn't look great actually. So let's see if we can dip. How about we're just gonna add a cross dissolve in there actually, and that might look quite good. There we go, cross dissolve looks okay, and that's quite nice. I like the action there. Alright, so let's see guys, just gonna extend this here so we know exactly what we're editing. Okay, so guys, next thing we're gonna do is, I don't really like the composition too much in this, so what would we do to change that? I want to make these slightly bigger. So what we would do guys is we'd click on the clip, we'd left click the clip, we'd go into effect controls, which we're already in, and we go down to motion. And then we are going to put the scale up a tiny bit. I think that's quite nice. So about here, actually I'll tell you what guys, we're going to go straight in there. And we are going to put this bang in the center there. There we go. Nice Ghana flag. And maybe we're going to go for 2. Should we go for 2 there? I think that's pretty good. So we're going to put in a title. So what we're going to do is we go to title and new title, default still. Alright, and then we're going to put main title. Just put that there. Boom, that should be fine. And we're on a black background, so that's absolutely fine. We are going to click somewhere in the middle, and let's see what font we are going to select. So we have a bunch of fonts here. Let's have a little look. We're going to go right up to the top here. We've got a little bit of lag. Let's see. We're going to click African. Okay. And there we're going to make the font size a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger than that even. And a little bit bigger than that. And a little bit bigger than that. Okay. And we are going to type in Ghana. Okay. Beautiful. So it looks a bit off. So one way to make sure your title is always in the right position is you go to the alignment bar and see we have center, horizontal center, vertical center. So we click that one, puts us in the middle, and then we click that one, and then now we are bang in the middle. We're going to space out the kerning a bit just to make it a little bit more artistic. First we're going to need to select the actual text itself, and then we can do it. Yeah, and there we go, at about 70 there, and we're going to do it again. Boom, and there you go. So looks quite artistic and a little bit arty, just Ghana. Okay, and if we want to put this over a background, we can also do that. So first we're going to click out. We're going to go in our project file here, and then we have a main title. So we're just going to put this up a bit. You can rearrange your workspace by doing things like this. We stretch this out a little bit. Then we've got our main title. We're going to put in a default transition on the beginning and on the end. And let's see, it's going to come in Ghana. Very nice. Alright guys, so we have got our title, we've got our timeline. I'm feeling happy about this, so we're going to finish it off by going to File, and then we go to Export Media, and then it's going to come up with AVI. Now, you don't necessarily want this, probably don't want this, because it's going to come out really low quality and it's not going to look the best. So what you should do is, ultimately it depends on your specific project, but I would say if you're a beginner with video footage, I would say it's always safe to go with H.264 because it's a universal file format, so no matter what device you are on, you're going to be able to watch it. So it would be a good idea to select that. From then on, you have a series of options here, and I would say it's ultimately up to you, but I'm going to pick, I know that I shot 25 frames and 720p is enough quality for this, so 720p HD 25 frames a second H.264, and it's only 24 megabytes, so that's absolutely fine. And then we're just going to click export, and it's called tutorial 1, and it's going to come in this folder. So maybe you don't want it in that folder, so we can click output name and then put it in the folder that you want. So I'm going to go onto my desktop for this, and I'm going to put it in. Okay, so guys, that's it. It's finished exporting, and this is my clip complete and finished. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Please let me know, guys, if you have any suggestions, there's anything that you would like to learn or you'd like to see next. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks very much.